welcome to our channel. I am new. If you are watching this, you are probably new here because obviously I'm also new to the channel. This is the second episode of, I'm doing a series or a challenge rather, but I posted another, like my first episode. I've been outlining, I've been talking about this challenge that I'm hoping on, and this is an update, because I've been doing this challenge for the past 10 days, and my yesterday was my 10th day. So today I'm going to share the 5 things that I learned through or during this challenge about myself. um you might be thinking that it is too early for me to learn certain things. Obviously, out of thought the same thing, that actually it is hard to discover certain things about yourself. But with this challenge particularly, I actually, it was not my intention to focus on myself. um the way that I came to learn about these things is that in the first day of the challenge, when I was hopping into the challenge, I couldn't find anything to do when I was doing this challenge. So I started journaling. So every day I would wake up and I'd journal. I'd write the things that I'm dealing with in that moment. So every day it will be a different thing, and I got to learn that. I got to learn certain things about my mind, certain things about my body, and certain things about my environment, and certain things about um, the challenge itself. One thing that I learned about the challenge, this is the only thing that I learned about the challenge, is that it is doable, it is easy, and it is not necessarily that the challenge is doable. Okay, the challenge itself, it is doable and it is easy, and I think it comes with um set, I don't know, but it come like it is easy compared to other challenges that I attempted and failed. Oh, forgive me. Like um I tried so many challenges. I didn't fail because they were hard, but I failed because of excitement. Every time I was hoping on a challenge, overcomplicate it. I would overcomplicate any kind of challenge that I'm hoping on. So, in the past 10 days, I resisted the urge to overcomplicate this challenge, and I think thus far it has been um, one thing that has helped me and that kept me going. So, yeah, I learned certain things, and I'll be happy to share them with the hope that they'll help someone, and maybe they'll interest you enough to get you into a path of doing this challenge alongside me or with me. Because I found this thing on YouTube. I don't know if I can find the person who did it, but I found it on YouTube. So without further ado, let me just share the things that I've learned, and hopefully, I pray that they help. And even if it is not about this challenge necessarily, but I hope and pray that they help someone. Like, we face a lot of things in life. Maybe you can take one thing amongst the things that I've learned and apply it to any kind of apply them in certain spaces in your life. So I'm going to read the things that I've learned, and I'm going to explain each one of them. All right. So the first thing, I'll be looking down quite often because I'll be reading the things that I've learned. I cannot just speak about them from the top of my head. I had to jot them down. So, number one, uh, what I've learned is that our brain does not help us to grow. And this is a common phrase. If you've been on YouTube long enough and you've been listening to the things that I've been listening to, then in um, the podcast, the self help gurus, these people, I've been listening to these things, and I didn't know what they were talking about until recently when I got to learn these things myself. Your brain does not help you in any way if you are trying to grow. Because your brain, I think it is true that your brain is made to keep you safe. Historically, our brain were like were developed in a way that they keep us safe from hazardous environments, from wild animals, from any kind of danger that a human species may face or come across in the wilderness. Of course, I'll call it that, uh, or in the forest, because we didn't start life here. We lived in the bushes, so we evolved from that time. And our brain, I think it hasn't evolved much, or it hasn't at all. So even to this day, when our brain senses that we are moving in a direction that it scares it shuts down. I hope maybe I'll get to a point where, okay, fine, let me just explain what my brain does. Every time in the morning when I wake up, when my alarm goes off, I'll think about the task at hand that I have to do, like for a good 30 seconds, and then somehow I feel like it shuts down. It covers, like, I feel like it is in a way try to hide that task from me so that I don't remember it, and then I continue sleeping. um I mentioned this in my first episode that I woke up the first day and I was so excited. And then the second day, this I learned this about the brain. On the second day, that your brain does not support your goals. So I woke up and then I thought about the task at hand, and I stayed in bed, and then suddenly I forgot about it, and I didn't wake up early as I planned to. And then the day went by, and I realized that uh no man, there's something wrong um with the thing that has just happened. And then around 11 o'clock midday, I started journaling, and I had to unpack it for myself. And I've learned that my brain, when I think about a task now, and then I don't get up immediately to do it, it'll bury it, and then I'll not remember it until the guilt creeps in. This is a thing that Mel Robbins talks about. Uh, that if you think of if you think about doing something, you should count down five, from five, not from one, but from five backwards, and then when you hit one, you should get up. Right? So my brain does this to me, and I realized that, you know what? I'm not gonna give it a chance in a day to do that again. Unfortunately, on the eighth day, I think that thing happened again, and I remembered someone said, "You cannot like, you can awaken yourself to your brain, and try to be smart as it is, but then even when you know the truth about your brain, about its tactics, it'll still play you." So I've learned that in the eighth day that even when you know the truth, your brain will still play you and then get you to cooperate with whatever that it wants. So uh yeah, in the 10, like in the whole 10 days, like at this point I'm trying to extend myself grace, because um I think in the past, in all the challenges, in all, I'd rather not call them challenges, but in all the things I maybe I should just call them challenges. In all the just challenges that I attempted, I failed because I was so hard on myself. If I don't show up one day, it's chai, it's that, right? So in this time, I thought, okay, even if I don't show up, let me journal about it. Let me just um, let me see what happened. Let me unpack it, and then get to know the things that are happening, that like the things that are happening and I'm not aware of, right? And then this journaling helps a lot. So the second thing that I've learned is that your environment doesn't support your growth at all. So you have to curate it. You have to curate it in a way that it will support your growth. But then there's this saying in the Bible that you cannot pour new wine in old wineskin because it'll burst. So you have to curate your environment in a way that it supports your goal. Unfortunately, I haven't done that, but this is one thing that I have learned. Um, I said it like in the past video that if you are um, maybe if your goal is to work out, the best way to do that maybe is to set your workout clothes a night before, and then if like we have different goals in life and we have different things to do. So with me, the problem now is I have to get out of bed, right? How do I curate that? How do I do it? I'm not gonna come here and act as if I know. I don't know what to do, but it is hard because how do you make it hard? Sleeping is not that hard. Sleeping is not hard at all. It's the most enjoyable things. How do I make it hard? Right? I don't know. But one thing that I know is that our environment does not support that. And you have to curate it yourself to support your goals and to support the things that you want to do. Like the third point is, don't be too hard on yourself. Like I think to some extent, 99% of the time, not necessarily 99%, but 90% of the time, I failed because I was too hard on myself. I was never like I never really extended myself grace. I've never been so kind to myself. And then in this challenge, I think I've been more kinder to myself. I've been like I gave myself so much grace. I'm telling you that I missed 2 days. If I was the old me, I would have like stopped. within the first day of not doing the challenge. So yes, I give myself grace, and I accept that sometimes things happen and then you have to move with whatever that happens. So the that's the third thing, right? Okay, right. The fourth thing that I've learned is that if you fall, get up. If you fall, get up. It goes well with number three. If you fall, get up. You know, if you fall, get up. But just as I said, give yourself grace. And what I realized, then is the other thing that I've realized is that I've been operating from fear and guilt and shame. I couldn't, I couldn't admit that I failed. I couldn't admit that I failed, but knowingly. So this is what was happening. What was happening with me every time I failed to show up the first day. If I fail to show up for myself, I start to beat myself up. I, I carry so much tension in my body, and then every time I fail to show up or I don't show up for myself, I feel this tightness on my chest. I feel this tightness on my shoulders. I feel this tightness on my back. And when I feel all of this, when I feel this tightness, I in a way shut down, and I blame myself every day. When I get up, I blame myself. I don't pick myself up at this point. I blame myself that I'm not doing the things that I'm not I should be. I'm not doing the things that I should be doing, but I feel bad for not doing them. But at the same time, I'm not doing anything about the fact that I feel bad about not doing them. So I don't pick myself up, but I don't stop blaming myself. It is just a circle, a toxic circle of, of self shame, guilt tripping myself, pity parties. The list is endless. But at this point, I've come to a point that I'm gonna love myself and I'm gonna give myself grace, and I'm not gonna be shameful whether I fall or I trip or whatever. I'm not gonna shame myself. I'm not gonna guilt trip myself, and I'm not gonna throw a pity party. I'm going to do the things that I should be doing. Just like now, I should have recorded this video a while ago, but I didn't, and now I'm doing it because I'm giving myself grace. I'm loving myself. One part of loving yourself is that you do the things that you are supposed to do, and then you don't shame yourself for not doing them at the time that you said you're going to do them. But you see to yourself that even if I do them at this time, I still have time and I have to do them. Not necessarily that you have to do them, but you do them otherwise. So don't, if you fall, get up. Just do them. Just do whatever that you had to do. You know, the only reason that we are so operating out of agency, thinking that maybe we are too slow or we're not doing the things that we are supposed to do, is because we are operating from fear, we are operating from shame, we are operating from guilt, and that is not a good thing. But if you are operating from love, then you are born to give yourself grace, and then show up, like you show up for the people that you love. So there's if you've missed the day, do it the next day. And the only thing that you have to do is that you don't stop, right? And I hope and pray that, in as much as I'm preaching in your face, this goes to my head as well. So the fifth one is don't overcompensate. overcomplicate. Don't overcomplicate anything that you do. I'm gonna tell you a story of how I failed to a point where I started to think of myself as incapable, and I started to feel like maybe I have anxiety. Maybe I have, if you don't do the things that you are supposed to do, you are going to carry, like, you are going to be the most anxious person in the world. Maybe I have ADHD, maybe I have anxiety, maybe I'm not capable, maybe like I'm capable. If there's one person who is capable, it is me and you. You are capable. I am capable. The only thing that you are not doing right is showing up for ourselves. Or we overcomplicate. Like, I have this art of overcomplicating things. I'm going to tell you a story or two because I have this program of. I might promise to tell you two stories. I know I have two stories, but I might tell you one and forget to tell you the next. So I'm going to tell you either both of them or one. So the first story, I remember I was on, like, I was creating my hair products. That is a story of, like, that is another fail. That is another thing that I failed at, but I'm planning to pick it up sooner. So I was creating, like, I had a call to do this, right? So I had an idea, and guys, this idea was a simple thing to do, and I sat down and I planned and I planned. I overcomplicated it. I went on, like, my mind was just spiraling. And it got, like, I overcomplicated this thing. And then one day I was like, okay, now I managed to overcomplicate it. And then I was sitting on a sofa, and now this thing, it is so huge in my head. And I'm there, I'm like, God, how am I going to do this? Like, I cannot do this thing. It is not meant for me. It is hard. And then in that moment I said, maybe I should go to the bedroom and pray. I went to the bedroom and prayed, right? As I got into the bedroom and I knelt down, I was like, God, before I even said anything, you just said, I didn't, like, I did not say all of that. I didn't tell you to do any of those things. What I said to you was so small, and yet because you are you managed to overcomplicate this thing. And I was like, mind you, I didn't stop at that, and I tried. Luckily, I executed. I still have the products in my house. I'll get to show you. I get to show you the products one day, but I managed to overcomplicate this thing. And then the second one, like the second story. Now that I caught myself, and then I spoke about this thing of forgetting. I think it slipped away for a moment. So, the second thing is, for the past 7 years, I've been on a journey to self-improvement, to improve my life, to rebrand my life. As you can see, not not much of rebranding has been done, but I'm trying. I hope I'll rebrand myself with this challenge. So, I would, like, attempt so many challenges. Like, if someone is doing a challenge, and I'll attempt it. If someone is doing a challenge, and, like, I'm always there within. So I managed, with every challenge that I hopped on, I managed to overcomplicate it one way or the other. I managed to do it all by myself. I'm an overthinker. I'll overthink it and make it a mountain of an issue. While it is, so I've been at it, overthinking. Man, so I'd find a challenge, hop on onto a challenge, and then plan it out, write it, put it down on a piece of paper, put it on the wall. Same day, watch another. I'll watch a podcast. And then maybe they're talking about something. Go on the wall, jot other things down. Fill up the paper. Just imagine I'm going from zero, from doing nothing to doing 100 or 10 of things, right? What do you expect? Obviously, I'm going to fail. Wanting it or not, it's not gonna happen because of the way I'm doing it. So, for the past 7 years, I'll start a challenge, overcomplicate it, stop, attempt the other one, overcomplicate it, feel guilty, shameful, whatever. It is just that toxic cycle. But with this challenge now, for this past 10 days, it is not like I haven't watched a podcast, or the only thing that I do is that I resisted the urge because I know how it starts and I know how it ends. I resisted the urge to overcomplicate it. So there we have it, my friends. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe, and see you the next time.